I also think we've put a false pressure on the definition of authenticity, meaning you share everything with everyone. And I'm not sure I vibe with that definition, because I think authenticity by nature is you sharing what you feel comfortable with each person. Like that's what it means to be authentic. And you could argue that authentic just means being however you want to be in any given situation. And so I think there has become a false pressure of, oh, you got to show you're authentic by showing every part of yourself. And I don't know if that triggers anything for you. It's like, what's the definition of authenticity for you? Or for me, that's what it is. But what is it for you?
I think it's but then in hindsight, there's a piece of it that, not even just to go back, but there's also like, maybe that's my insecurity framing what the loudness of the things that I'm most sensitive of. Is this noise somehow?
Yeah, it triggers us for a reason.
You know what I'm saying?
There's some stuff that you just go, oh yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, whatever. But it's like, but it's some stuff that's just like, man, like why does that bother me so much?
Yep.
Like there's something about that because I know what that does in the bigger, like I'm always thinking bigger picture. It's very rarely that I really focus on the thing. It's always about what's the cause of that in a bigger conversation, you know? The authenticity to me is being able to sleep at night, being able to go talk to my mom and knowing that the people that know me, every fiber of my being, my intention, knows my heart through and through, that they see the same person. They're able to connect with the same energy and the same vibe and the same spirit. My energy has never changed. You know, I think being authentic to that frequency is super important to me. No matter where I go, no matter how I evolve, and have to mature and grow up, I want my energy to always feel the same. That's why when you meet certain people and it's been years that go by and you pick right back up where you left off, it feels like no time is lost. That energy is it's always the same. And I love when people I haven't seen in a long time or come at me like, man, whoa, it feels, you know, it's the same. And that just lets me know that I'm not losing myself. And I'm not losing track of, you know, who I am and where I come from. And I am always going to be an agent of change, Trojan horse or not, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know, just and continue to lead by example. You know, I know the path that I'm on isn't easy. You know, sometimes it may look easy, you know, for the successes or whatever, but it's behind closed doors. I'm doing the work, so the future generations have it a little bit easier or have a little bit more tools to use, and they can ask for certain things that won't be like what it'd be almost standard for them, you know, and you know, from my vantage point, I'm able to see a lot of the roadblocks that exist within systems, you know, and paperwork and precedents. I've been chipping away at those where I can in places. And there's so many, look, I say I a lot in this interview. There's so many people out there that are doing that type of work, you know, that exist, men and women in these places that are breaking down barriers, that are chipping away. It's like Shawshank Redemption, you know, rock at a time, gravel at a time, you know, eventually that hole's going to be open, you know what I'm saying? Eventually it's going to be open, but just chipping away. And unfortunately, everybody can't be the loudest one in the room, you know, sometimes you gotta be the quiet guy in the room. You gotta listen and look and pay attention and move how you need to move. The chess pieces, they have different rules and different movements for a reason, you know, and they're on the board in different places for a reason. And I know my place on the board.
And I think that's what it comes down to, right? It's like, I appreciate you bringing out that point around how things that trigger us give us somewhere to focus on within ourselves.
For sure.
Like, I feel like that too. Like, I'm like, there's certain things that just don't faze me at all. And I can look like the most detached guy and like, I'm bulletproof.
Yeah.
And then there's something that gets through that vest.
It's just like,
and it's because there's a part of it that feels true, and there's a part of you that you've allowed for it to feel true, because it could be that you are. There's a part of your self-esteem you haven't worked on. There's something you took from your childhood and made true for you, and now when someone else says it and you didn't even know where it came from, but I was talking to a friend the other day and we were talking about how one of his mentors was letting him down, and we discovered in that, I've been friends with this guy for like 20 years. We're best mates. And it was like 20 years later, we figured out that he'd made his mentor his father figure.
Okay.
And he didn't really put two and two together until just now, and neither did I for him. And it was like, wait a minute, no wonder I'm feeling so much pain with this mentor of mine, because I'd made him a father figure and gone through that feeling of he's Superman, and now realizing he's not, even though I'm a 40-year-old man for him. And so it's just so interesting how the stuff that gets under our skin, it can just be hidden there, and it gets stale and stuck, and then you don't look at it because you're like, oh, no, it's nothing. But at one point when you feel safe enough, you have to kind of like look under the hood and go, why is that there?